Yeah. Let's get it started. Had some technical difficulties, but we good now. For someone that was asking, these are instrumentals by the homie Stolen Drums. The first one's called Mellotron Master. I'm not sure if that's what he called it for the final, but that's what it's called. We're getting ready to get started here in a second. Thank you so much. Make sure you please hit that like button on the way in. We got a very interesting collection of stories today. Let's talk about it. All right, for real though. Let's get it.
DIY.
DIYers, welcome to another episode of the Curtis King DIYer podcast. I appreciate everybody joining me here. I know this is a late night stream, especially if you're on the East Coast, but I definitely appreciate you being here. Shout out to every DIYer in the building. Make yourself known. Put a DIYer emoji in there. Let yourself be known. For those of you that are joining for the first time, thank you so much. Do me a favor, if you haven't seen the poll yet, hit that like button for me one time before we get into these stories that we got. I got 4 hot ones for you. Real quick. I think you're going to enjoy these. But before we get started, I want to make sure that I check in with you guys and see what you got going on in your world. Yeah. Okay, let me see. What's good, chat? There we go. I see the DIYer emojis. We are here. They clone Curtis. When the hell I become Tyrone? When did I become Tyrone? They didn't clone me. They ain't clone me yet. Shut up, Curtis. There it goes. If you can't find the emoji, just put the DIY. That's fine. I'm with that. All right, we got to get into this. This is not clickbait, ladies and gentlemen. This is getting nasty. Courtney, I hope everything is going well on your end. I heard that there's a nasty storm heading your way. I didn't hear that. But if it is, you feel me? Then we got to get prepared then. But we need some. Is EBRO wearing a lot of makeup in that pic? No, don't blame him for that. Don't blame him for my photoshopping. That man ain't put no makeup on. At least I don't think he did. Don't blame him for my photoshopping. That's just my noise reduction. Don't mind me. Oh, man. All right. Be safe in the storm. We'll be good. That's one thing I'm going to say is we going to be good. We're going to always figure out a way. But Yeah, first and foremost, there we go. I keep seeing the DIY emojis coming in here. Maybe folks are starting to see the picture. Maybe folks are starting to see the vision that we have been talking about. I feel like we've been investing so many videos. We definitely hit over that 100 video thresh mark since we started reacting to videos. And it's been a really dope journey because I feel like we're watching the music industry change every single day. And to be someone who prides themselves on independence, to be somebody who prides themselves on staying informed, it's crazy to see. It's crazy to see all the stuff going on. And I feel like EBRO, I don't know what possessed him to put this message out there, but I feel like it's about to get ugly for these labels, man. I mean, not about to. It's already been ugly for them behind the closed doors. And this is not me sitting around taking glee and taking happiness in it. They're like, because they business ain't got to do it. Got nothing to do with my business. But I do think it's important because I feel like one of my responsibilities, if I'm going to be reacting to these stories, if I'm going to be telling you my point of view on these things, I think it's important that I also do my due diligence to help prepare those of you who may not think that, it's a whole lot of stuff to be looking forward to. Where do you have the PMs 911s uploaded? If you put Music Producer Motivation 101 and Rapper, I think it's Rapper Motivation 101 and Producer Motivation, there should be playlists that pop up. If not, I'll have to go reopen the playlist. But interesting times. So I think we should just go ahead and get into this because, man, I have so much point of view that I want to give on this because I feel like it does in a way affect us all. So let me see. And those of you that are making Afro beats or consider your music to be, how can I put this? Consider your music to be in the category, I guess they call it Latin is the category. I mean, it's all music, no matter what. But for those categories, they're looking for you now. They are looking for you. They are looking for artists who are a lot easy to manage and artists that people are paying hella money to go see. So for those of my folks that are abroad, I'm about to make sure that I save a little conversation for you because don't let these labels do what they did to so many folks over here in the States. Y'all better tax their ass. All right. I say we get into this and waste no further time.
DIY.
Ladies and gentlemen, let 2023 be the year that mainstream hip-hop changed forever. We all know the struggles that hip-hop has had, at least in mainstream hip-hop, when it comes to sales. We've seen the Billboard charts document many a times how hip-hop has not had its usual domination by way of the charts. Now, it took about 6 or 7 months, but number one albums started to come in. There were artists that found their way to it. However, just like in any business, and we know that the music business is a business first, just like in any business, when you take L's and you see things start to shift, if you're what in tune with your listening audience, some of your business practices must change as well. Which is why the timing of all of the things that I'm going to share with you is very interesting. EBRO, who is well known as a radio host and a voice within hip hop, he put a very interesting tweet up. That tweet, make sure that I position this so you can see what I'm seeing. This tweet, hold on, this tweet said, I got a call saying it should be noted many major record labels have deprioritized signing rappers. The focus is now African music and Latin music. Rappers better stop being boring and talking about the same shit over and over, chasing TikTok success and comment sections. To elaborate further on this, OK Player says radio personality and DJ EBRO thinks hip-hop has fallen off despite the culture reaching its 50th anniversary, which the conspiracy theory tingling inside my brain feels like that's not by mistake, but we'll get into that in a little bit. He gave a hot take on Twitter that said that he received a call regarding rap's alleged troubled future and that record labels are placing importance on Afrobeats and Latin music. I've talked about this a few different times, and I don't find much surprise in this, in that with so many music listeners and just human beings in general, bringing the conversation of mental health to the forefront, it makes you want to filter the things that come into your brain, the things that you listen to, the voices that you listen to, and of course, the music that you listen to. And I made the prediction earlier this year that if the music is not higher frequency to appease those folks, that music will not be a priority when it comes to people actually buying merchandise or any products circulating around your music. This is further showing that that's the direction things are heading. The article goes on to say, although hip hop has made strides in the underground and mainstream, there has not been a #1 hip hop song, did not know that, on the Billboard charts, aside from Lotto's appearance on 7 with BTS member Jungkook. I've never heard the name. I've heard of BTS though. Lil Uzi Vert's The Pink Tape was the first rap album of 2023 to debut at #1 on the Billboard 200, followed by Travis Scott, Utopia. Prior to this tweet made on Thursday, EBRO had more critiques for rap artists, calling some out for not thanking the culture despite their success. Now, if you didn't know, hip-hop celebrated its 50th anniversary, and there was many different celebrations all across the U.S., but more specifically in the borough and the mecca of hip-hop, there were many different performances from legendary hip-hop artists who have contributed to this culture. And I, like many who appreciate this culture and how much it's changed my life as a rapper and producer, I paid homage. Not everybody did. And you would think the folks that have become multimillionaires off of this would do that. But unfortunately, a lot of folks kind of went silent during that process. So he goes on to talk about that a little bit further. That was the another tweet from another day. But I want to zero in more on this label situation of why would you want to prioritize Afro beats and Latin music over rap? Well, when you look at when you look at the Billboard charts and you see the music that has been dominating, you'll see that it has been the Bad Bunnies. It has been the Afrobeat artists. It has been the folks that have figured out how to tap into the pulse of Gen Z. It's been folks, the Whiz Kids. It's been Burna. It's been so many different folks that have figured out, like, yeah, this is us being authentic to who we are. And I feel like that has made a deeper connection. But I think it's more than that. I've alluded to, when we were covering the Billboard charts stories about the albums, I alluded to, one, hip hop being stagnant in terms of its topics. Hip hop also regurgitating toxic topics that are now being called out at probably a higher rate than ever before, because you now have folks who position themselves as influencers who have a platform to call rappers out or to call out the contradiction of their messages based upon or versus their charitable campaigns and things that they do there. There are kids who just seem like they're wising up to a lot of things. We even talked about how a lot of the younger artists, we even talked about how a lot of the younger music consumers are not even buying tickets because they're asking themselves, why would I pay you, singular rapper, $200 to go to your show when I could spend $100 more and see everybody that's currently in my playlist via a festival? It's funny how when a thought comes to you like that, how a message will be delivered in so many different places to let you know you're not crazy. let me draw your attention to this video. I had never heard of this artist before, but his name is Lantana Easy, and he's from Cincinnati, Ohio. He made a really interesting statement about how specifically the more violent music is having a psychological effect on its listeners, something we've heard millions of times. But the way that he presented it, I think, was something that a lot of folks can really gravitate towards without having it to be a very deep dialogue, even though it is a deep topic. I think also the timing of the movie, they cloned Tyrone, which one of y'all in here said that they cloned me. The movie They Cloned Tyrone, which also has scenes that allude to the same idea that the music is placed there to control behavior. The music is placed there to shift the way that people live their day-to-day lives. But the way that Lantana Easy broke this down, watch this.
Hey, man, y'all know why the vibe be so off in some of the black clubs, man. We really be in there trying to have a good time listening to 30 straight serial killer songs. Like, we really in there trying to have a good time and vibe out to murder music.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
What, we in there hypnotized. We damn near all done lost somebody to violence. That's why we all in there on the verge of socking some shit. Because we keep listening to serial killer music. These young mad-ass niggas talk about hitting somebody with a switch. Man, 30 clip, slide. Man, we in there drunk. We really hypnotized listening to this devil-ass shit. I ain't gonna lie, like, I don't like some of the music, but it be like, man, how's we partying, trying to have a good time listening to murder music? This shit is psychopath shit, for real. Like,
dare I say, for the sake of sounding too woke, people are waking up. The people are waking up. Our folks are waking up. This is an artist who is actively pursuing a career in music, has so been for many years. When you hear that kind of conversation, not only be articulated, but also be spread and have viewership the way he's having in here. I don't know how many views this got, but I know it's a whole lot of comments in here where people are co-signing the same idea. At some point, when you think about the kind of music that is out there, and it sounds so crazy because, bro, I remember when my parents were saying this about music that I was listening to when I was coming up. And I was like, oh, y'all tripping. I ain't got no kind of influence on my behavior. But once you listen to something one time, two times, three times, you start to pick up some of the words. You start to pick up some of the catchiest parts of it. And let's not get crazy and say that it's going to, if you're listening to something that's talking about murder, that you're going to go out and murder somebody, right? Let's not even go that extreme, even though there are some people who are on the edge and all they need is a little encouragement to do some crazy shit like that. But let's not even go that far. Let's just talk about the constant programming we do when we listen to just one of those artists, or we listen to a song over and over and over again. When you think about the ways that we remember when we were kids, the way that we remember answers to a test so well that it's still embedded into us when we're adults, it's through repetition. It's through listening to a message over and over and over and over and over again. Even listening to it when you're not consciously listening to it, just put it in the background, right? It's just a background vibe. These things start to become mantras. These things start to, in their own way, affect our behavior. Even if it's not the behavior they're talking about, even if you're not going out, like he said, socking somebody, if you're not going out socking somebody, you ever listen to some shit that just puts you on edge? Because I know for damn sure I've watched movies that have just put me on edge. Well, if we're talking about an audience now that is more conscious than ever before of their mental health and of the things that they're digesting, why would they continue to do the same thing that they've been doing if they want to get new results? Why would they continue to do the same thing if they want to get new results? I've made a lot of content that rightfully points out record labels for the treacherous ways, the manipulative ways that they take advantage of young minds. And I stand behind it all. But at the end of the day, they were always going to do that because they're a business. And it does not surprise me that after their violent cash cow starts to dry up, they are so easily ready to jump ship and, as EBRO says, deprioritize the signing of rappers. When you think about this just from a business standpoint, and I'm about to get real cold, right? I don't operate business like this. Maybe that's not why I'm as good at business as them. Because when money is the only thing that rules your moral compass, you're going to get a whole lot of it because there's a whole lot of opportunity if you don't give a damn. But if I have a business, if I am thinking about the amount of money that I'm putting out there and that money is not coming back, or say I invest into a rapper and the amount that I am investing is not coming back to me, I got to make some other decisions. That's not sustainable. Now, when I think about the amount of rap that has been missing from the charts, I'm not just thinking about the quality of music. I'm thinking about, well, that's a product that's not selling the way that it once was across the board. Just from a business standpoint, if I invest in you as a rapper, how long do I have you for? Especially if you're making like drill, or you making like some of the most violent shit you can think of. How long do I have you for? How long before the things that I'm helping you promote, that I'm help broadcasting across the world, how many years do you have before you're gone? How many years before that were you a liability? Just thinking from the standpoint of a record label. So if they look at you like a liability, if they look at you as disposable, if they look at you like, man, you can't stay out of jail, if they look at you like, man, you ain't even gonna be here, and then after you die, your percentages of your streams are gonna burst up 200%, and I'll just find another you. Well, this is what happens when they're not making money off of that like they once were, in my opinion, and according to the EBROs. And there's some other stories that we're going to break down, I think, that continue to show not just the issues they're having in hip hop, but even in pop, where there's some music execs that are expressing some depression, their words, not mine, about their inability to break artists like they once did. They're turning their backs. Excuse me. They are deprioritizing their focus, deprioritizing rap in place of successful genres that people are gravitating towards. You know why? Because it's always been money on their mind. It's always been about the money. Last thing I'm gonna say, especially for those who still don't believe, as this gentleman we were just watching a video, Lantana Easy. Have you ever just found yourself randomly singing like the most absurd lyrics out of nowhere? Remember, like 2 years ago, I had a mouse in my house, and I was getting myself pumped up. You know what I sang? I got murder on my mind. Why? Where did that come from? Why? Why did I have that pop up? The hypnotizing ways seem to be shifting. The focus seems to be shifting. People seem to be waking up. And whatever that means to you, it means to you. Those are my words. Those are my thoughts, though. What do you guys think?
DIY.
Talk to me. Talk to me. Help me make more sense out of the shit we're seeing. No clickbait here. If I put it in the title, I guarantee that I'm going to give you exactly what I put in that title. I know there's going to be people on two sides of it, I assume, that say, well, what about the people who were trying to make a living for themselves? I'm excited about the fact that now they get to make the music that they want to make, right? I really doubt. I have doubts about if the folks that are coming up making certain type of music, like I think about a 21 Savage who'd say it, I'm literally just doing this to feed my family. I wonder, what would you actually make then? Like, what would you make if it wasn't any pressure from the suits to deliver something? What would you make? What would you make? And I feel like the more we ask that question, the more we're going to start seeing people make stuff that you probably would never expect your certain rapper or your favorite rapper to make. I'm excited about what that could mean. I'm excited about the collaborations that can happen because the labels get in the way and say that's not good for your brand. That's not good for you. I don't think that's a good look for you. They're too clean. I don't know. Talk to me, though. I see some good commentary up here that I want to make sure that I highlight. Shout out to everybody that's in here. Absolutely. Please hit that like button on the way in. I appreciate that. Many times a day I catch myself saying my blicky in my dresser, and I've never heard the song, but the part is catchy as hell. Funny you bring that up. The next thing I want to talk about, the TikTokification of rap. Like, that's going to be an interesting one because there was a person that broke this down on their Instagram of how TikTok is affecting fans of, say, an artist like Steve Lacy, who performed a song and then asked the audience to sing the rest of it, and they didn't know it because the only version that they had listened of that song was on TikTok. Slowed up, sped up, and slowed down. That's it. After the part that went viral, they were like, we're going to watch that video. That shit's that is not funny. It's not funny, but it is very eye-opening to see where things are at. Very eye-opening, I think. The 7-second curse is crazy. The imagery, sexual and violence will never stop, though. Hey, but they bought a ticket. They did. They bought a ticket. But I wonder how much other stuff they bought after that. I'm forever hip-hop. I don't understand none of that other BS. I think you're going to see a resurgence with new, younger energy because you're talking about it's so weird the way they make hip hop seem like it's such polar opposites. Like it's people who are either making the most outrageous, like misogynistic, violent shit, or it's people who are just, you know what I'm saying? Like woke as hell and they're like super conscious. I feel like that was done on purpose though, to leave no room for the in-between, right? When you leave room for the in-between, that means that certain people can be the exception to the rule. If people are the exception to the rule, that may change the next flock of rappers that you're exposed to when you want to sign them. That may expose you to somebody that's like, that's not really what we're going for. It's not really what we're going for. I really wish we could get something more violent. Like I don't think they would flat out say that, but isn't that interesting? I love the in-betweens. That's where the gold is. I'm with you. That's why I'm such a big fan of Kendrick. I think Kendrick has found a way to really find a healthy balance between where he's from, but also the things that he's learned along the way and how he's evolved with that. Like, even like blog era Kendrick, when you think about Kendrick putting gunplay on the hook for cartoons and cereal, I'm like, yo, that is such an in-between move. I love that. It needs to happen. John Connor, yes, I have. Ludacris was a little gangster, but he didn't really have to rap about that either. I mean, and can you fault the artist? I mean, the thing is, I would prefer somebody to tell me the truth, whether or not I understand that way of life. Tell me your truth. But if you're going to tell me your truth, don't tell me a half-truth for a catchy-ass hook. Don't keep telling me these half-truths for a catchy-ass TikTok moment. I may sound old when I say that, but I say that because that was the difference between gangster rap today and gangster rap yesterday. Is that whenever you would hear somebody saying like, I'm about to do this to you, or I'm about to light up your whole block, there was a rhyme and a reason. Whether you agreed with that rhyme and reason, they explained it. Now it's like, I'm gonna murk your ass because I feel like it. Hey, yo, the hell is going on with you? Now they singing it in auto-tune. Hey, yo, how are you singing murder in the correct key? What scale is that? That shit's crazy. I love it. I love to see that things are changing, though. And I love to see that you guys, those of you that are here, whether you are somebody who makes music, purchases music, buy music, support somebody in music, you're part of that change. The fact that we're able to have this dialogue right now, to me, shows how much people have been ready for that. Don't get me started on auto-tune. We won't. There was more balance in rap when there were albums rather than streaming singles. Yeah, what scale is a scale of murder? I got murder on my... Could you run that back? I didn't really hit the high note for murder. You think I should do a high tone or... Murder? You like that one better? Like, that's a crazy conversation between a rapper and an engineer that you know happens on a daily damn basis. It's crazy. All right. I'm all the above. What does that mean, Rough Diggy? That you're all into every one of them concepts? D for death. Murder in the correct key. Yeah, these new thugs on demon time, literally. Yeah. But I do feel like the time that we're living in allows for you to be a full picture, for you to be a whole picture. It's the last thing I'll say. That's the beauty of living in right now. That all you need is some motion. You show that you got motion, the money will find its way towards you. These companies will invest in you. Because as you can see with the labels, they don't give I'm not saying you should do that for the labels, but they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about any of this conversation we're having. Devil worshiping? God, go ahead and run it. If it'll pay me, I'll okay it. If it'll pay, okay. Okay, misogynistic? If it'll pay, okay. Like, some of the shit that I see that gets to mainstream, I'm just like, yo, that's crazy, because they're not even hiding that. Like, people are so worried about the agenda. I know that's a deep rabbit hole to go into, but the agenda is money. The agenda is money, mind control. These are things that are prioritized, but money is at the top of that. Never get it twisted. That's why they can easily say, all right, I'm done signing a bunch of you killers. Now let's go find some Latin music. Let's go find some Afro beats. Yeah. Oh, y'all buying positive shit? Let's run that. It's the same system that was able to bring in the De La Souls for an era and put them up in the mainstream. They don't care. If it make money, come on, honey. Let's sign them today. Cold game. All right, let's talk about the TikTokification of music, courtesy of a very, 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 very well thought out and interesting post on Instagram.
DIY.
All right. So there's an account that I follow called Off Record Sounds that actually I figured them out. I learned about them because they use one of my clips from YouTube in one of their compilation videos. And what I love about it is that it's really great content. Go ahead and share this with you. They make all kind of like posts that just have everything to do with rap, social media, and just how the culture is being shifted by these different things. In this particular post, though, they talk about the TikTokification. How can I even say it? The TikTokification of rap and all the implications of it. So basically how TikTok is not only changing rap music, but how TikTok is affecting the fandom that some people have of music. And also, as you'll see in one of these slides, how much of the music fans even know. I use the word fans loosely, but how much of the music they even know based upon the trends in TikTok. TikTok is really dominating the conversation when it comes to the way that music is consumed these days. So the header is, let's look at rappers who got TikTokified and all the implications of it. I'm going to see if I can play this. If I get flagged, I get flagged. So what you're listening to is the latest rapper to get TikTokified, as they have branded it. Lancey Foe, song Lancey or Lance, what is it called? Lancey or Lancey, has been home to a huge new trend. The trend essentially consists of people posting their glow-ups with usually a younger photo and then a current photo. The following video in this slide sums up the frustration of many fans, which we'll get into with the rest of this post. Even outside just Lancey, however, TikTok has seen a lot of trends started by rap songs as of late. Next slide. Another song where a rapper just randomly just flies off the side of he just flies off the freeway. He just flowing, he just going, and he like, and that shit just goes crazy. It just goes trending. So, Saw Baby, just a few months back, you had Saw Baby's new song, Lost All My Feelings, have a viral trend because of its part. I actually thought the dance trend myself was cool. This is what the writer says. For the most part, it seems harmless and helps rappers get their music out. But there's a deeper flip side to this too. Boing. Oh, let the kids be kids, Curtis. Okay.
I love my bitches, it's pretty, they showing their titties is up to the ceiling.
So what you're seeing, I'm gonna get into this, is that the case that he's making right now is that instead of the songs inspiring the trends are inspiring the songs, or the trends that have yet to be set are inspiring the songs. This is not a new concept, especially when you think about the emergence of Soulja Boy. When he first came onto the internet scene, if I had $1 for everybody who had a new dance, Soulja Boy that whatever, Soulja Boy that that's been around. But this is, I think, a little bit more deliberate it's a little bit more deliberate when it comes to artists who are already popular, trying to mine at least that viral moment. So it says Gunna, which the song you just heard. It's crazy because this trend literally made this song rank #1 and resulted in Gunna solidifying his comeback to rap after the whole YSL saga. However, as opposed to Lancey's older song, it almost feels like these songs are made for trends. The yeah and bang, what are we reporting on, are evidence of that. Is TikTok that big now that even big rappers like Gunna need to have a gimmick? I would argue that they've always needed a gimmick. I would argue that your favorite rappers, even though if you may or may not want to call it a gimmick, your favorite rapper, you want to know if they have a gimmick? Ask yourself, can you be them for Halloween? If you want to be Tupac, what would you wear? Bandana, leather vest, no sleeves. If you wanted to be Biggie, glasses, Kango, Gucci, the Koji sweater, the cane. That's always been a part of it. But it seems now, and I guess this is the argument they're making, these gimmicks are even more exaggerated sonically than they are visually. They go on to say, it's okay if the music slaps, but what's it mean when it's all that gets hot over an entire album? Let's see more.
I'm just saying.
We're not playing that one because I'm for sure get flagged. They talk about Kanye West and how he's had songs that have found new success, even though they are years and years removed from the generation that's making them viral. Kanye's been one of TikTok's favorite artists to get a hold of. This time, you'd actually think it's more of a positive than a negative due to the app allowing so many younger listeners to discover his legendary discography. But think about this. In Kanye's case, he made his name way before TikTok was ever a real thing. He can't be called a TikTok artist at all. Now, to contrast that, There are rising artists who are forced to use TikTok because everyone is on it. And this has led to a lot of trouble. They're going to give some examples, but they're absolutely on point in that it has been documented many a times of labels making it a requirement for the rollout of a project for there to be some kind of social media strategy built around TikTok specifically for the rapper. I don't care if it's, for instance, The Game, who I would never think of being on TikTok. When he was doing the campaign, I think for, I forget the name of the project, but it was the drill project that he had the Hit Boy production on. He was on TikTok. Even when you think about Blueface being on Aiden Ross's live stream, like they are making it now a requirement if they're going to shell out the money for marketing. These are the ideas that they're coming with. They're going to talk about the other side of it now. Oh, man, when I seen this, my friends, when I seen this, Steve Lacy is more than just a rapper. Steve Lacy is someone who's just supremely talented musician, singer. He does a little bit of like kind of rapping in what he does, but his music is genre bending. And I actually, funny enough, I hadn't heard his popular song Bad Habit. I heard the remix of it. I wish I knew. I wish I knew you. The Jersey Club version. That's the one I heard. But something happened at a Steve Lacy song. Excuse me. Something happened at a Steve Lacy show where he tested his audience just like any other artist does of their knowledge to remember his lyrics. His most popular song, not no album song, not no unreleased shit, like his most popular song. And then it says, this is what happened.
The way nobody sang the next verse embarrassing as.
So he's asking him to sing the hook and what comes after that hook. He said, no, don't stop. Keep singing. Can you imagine? Fam, could you imagine working your damnness? And mind you, this is just a microcosm of, I'm sure he's done many of shows where folks know the entire song. But it just shows you how having a song that you worked your ass off on, that you got mixed and mastered and made all these alterations to, a song that you knew in your gut, yo, this shit's finna go up. Then you put it out, and then it goes crazy. That song went all over the place. Even though I didn't hear it, it went all over the place. I saw it, retroactively, I saw it. It had remixes, sped up versions, slowed down versions. All of that happened. You're at a show. I'm assuming this is sold out. And now it's time for people to sing along with you. He puts that mic out after the chorus, and people can't sing past the 30-second clip that they've been using on their TikToks because they didn't actually even go cop the music, or they didn't listen to the full song or remember the full song. They're too stuck on all the TikToks or the TikTok dances that maybe are a minute at the most, and it doesn't include the verse. So they write, although he's not a rapper, Steve Lacy has to be the greatest example of an artist who suffered the worst of the TikTok effect. As seen in his video, his fans at his own show didn't even know the words to Bad Habit after the TikTok part. And for performing literally something that's always been considered the essence of music. Isn't this concerning? I would say so. Because to me, that's, I don't know about you, but I get goosebumps when I hear a crowd reciting the lyrics back to a rapper. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, maybe it's me as a performer, as an artist myself. Seeing that, experiencing that, one of a kind feeling. And you almost go to these shows expecting that to happen, especially if you're selling it out. These folks only know the TikTok part. Wild. You either get this happen or you get called a TikTok artist if you blow up on it, or both. Here's more example. The Whole Underground, which is a song, Underground scene. Basically, the whole underground scene that we know of blowing up since a few years back blew up through TikTok. Are they putting quotations around that? Because I don't know what the damn song is. Basically, the whole underground scene that we know of blowing up since a few years back blew up through TikTok. And like I said, the same TikTok rapper term is applied. But moreover, we've seen the hype be so hard to maintain. I think that's Clappers and Baby Santana have been two artists that saw the most of the TikTok effect, arguably. Cash Dami, Che, etc. too. It blows my mind that, it don't blow my mind because I've seen this happen before. I'd say about 15 years ago, it was a ultimate no-no for you to be an artist that had all this music out, that people knew the music more than they knew you. And now it feels like that's more commonplace than ever before. I see so many new rapper names that pop up, and it takes me listening to the song before I'm like, oh, okay, that's who made that. And I still don't remember it. Not to mention, rapper names are longer than they've ever been before, I feel like. I feel like that shit just reads like a run-on sentence sometimes. But that's more commonplace than ever because you could be literally, as they talked about before, 14-year-old kid that just jumps up, puts your song out, it goes crazy, it goes viral, and unless folks are already following you, they may or may not know who the hell you are. It said TikTok has given so many a platform, but that platform is so short-lived. Many have fallen off. However, here's where they talk about artists that have taken advantage of their momentum from TikTok. There have been some exceptions. Almost transcending the whole TikTok rapper label at this point, Yeat has gotten respect from the industry, mainstream rappers, and listeners alike. He was the face of the whole platform for a small while. It came from so many of his songs blowing up back to back. He's truly been an anomaly. So they're saying here an artist like Yeat was able to kind of like dodge off the title of being just a TikTok rapper by continuously making hit after hit after hit, and hit being songs that absolutely resonated with the audience that's on TikTok. So he was able to fight it and combat it and stay as relevant as possible through pure quantity and hitting multiple times. So that was one example of somebody who's been able to dodge the TikTokification of their music. This nigga right here. When my boys finally leave so I can finally be zesty. So they're talking about Ice Spice, but I'm gonna let you just play real quick. Let y'all sit with this.
Stop playing with them, Riley. You thought I was feeling you? That nigga a munch. Nigga, either he ate it.
You niggas is different. Ice Spice. Munch had everybody calling Ice Spice a TikTok rapper at first. But even she has transcended that with the string of releases that she's had over the past few months. It feels like just a select few are able to escape that. Now she's a superstar. We've looked at some of the most significant examples of rappers getting the TikTok effect. Let's wrap it up. Yes, Ice Spice has definitely been an exception to the rule of a song that took off and found so much of its drive and momentum from the support of TikTok. But her brand, the other music that she created, made her larger than just those viral moments. This right here, though, this right here is interesting, especially because it connects to the first story we did today. Is the tweet here from Pop Bass, and I actually found an article that it's linked to. We'll talk about that. But music execs tell Billboard charts that they are worried and depressed as the industry struggles to find big artist breakthroughs, noting Olivia Rodrigo and Ice Spice as the last recently successful ones. Nobody knows how to break music right now. Each person I talk to in the industry is more depressed about this than the person I talked to before them. Artists, producers, be easy on yourself. The people who have positioned themselves as professionals, I know how the hell to break an artist. They're struggling right now. Part of that to blame is the TikTokification of music. Part of that is the blame is that when you don't have as much control as you once did over the machine, the campaigning, the marketing machine, you sitting on the outside like everybody else. Now, you may have some golden tickets that allow you to be in the front of the line, but these companies, their biggest priority is their company. And as the above tweet has become a real reality for much of the music industry and its executives, the questions on and about TikTok have been raised on a level more than ever before. It's shifted the entire industry plus music consumption. What does this mean for rap and music as a whole too? Are even the biggest rappers at the mercy of TikTok trends now? How long will that even last? Is this just a reflection of listeners? Is this just our reality now? Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to answer all of those questions. What does this mean for rap? For me, I look at this and I say, this just shows me a reflection of who's always been ultimately in power, which is the consumer, even if they didn't know that they were in power. This shows me that it's not only the consumer that is in power, but it is the creative, if they're able to figure out how to give content that is not just through the medium of music, that can entertain, that can educate, that can highlight whatever their particular skills are, that can add value to the person that they're giving it to. If they know how to add value to the lives of the people who just so happen to start there because of their music, those are the ones who ultimately can now level the playing field without needing the big machine, because now the algorithm becomes the machine when they learn how to finesse, when they learn that they're talking to human beings and not necessarily the algorithm. Are even the biggest rappers at the mercy of TikTok trends now? I think when somebody else is financing your career, you're always at the mercy of whatever decision they think is the most wise. So if a label is funding your campaign, how much of a say do you have? Whether you're a big rapper or not, you got a boss too. What you gonna do? Gonna break your contract? Cause you don't wanna thought I was feeling you? You don't wanna do none of that shit? Huh? You wanna do none of that shit? You gonna break your contract? Yes, big rappers are at the mercy of that shit too. You know what you signed. It was part of what you signed up for. How long will that even last? I think that I'll end with that thought. How long will this last is a good question to end this on. How long will it last? I think that if anything has been more consistent than ever, it's been change in this era, right? The speed at which change is happening. So I can definitely see the habits of listeners shifting, the habits of music consumption changing. And for some people, that could be a bad thing. For some people, that could be a good thing. I think that when everything is so unpredictable in terms of the habits, in terms of the consumption of music, you cannot follow the trends and think that that's going to be a sustainable career. Because what are the trends? The trends don't have enough weight to follow. The trends don't even have enough time on them to follow closely behind. Even worse, you could follow a trend so well that you become a mascot for it, and then when that trend is gone, it's almost like the kids that were at one point in time doing jerk music. You're gone with that era. Man, a kid will say, remember that's when I first signed up for my TikTok. Man, bro, it was crazy. Bro, that was only 3 years ago. Man, I wonder what he's up to. Nah, he fell off, bro. So I think now for DIYers, for artists, for those of you that are frustrated with this process, don't look at this as shit. What do I do next? Look at this as I can now do whatever the hell that comes to my mind. I now can make whatever music that is on my heart. I now can just sit there and create off of everything that I've ever wanted to do, but had a fear of, what if this is not tapped in? You're talking about a world of TikTok, which I have my own issues about. We'll get into that in another video. You have a world where things go viral. People attach to things for whatever particular reason, and it doesn't matter what time it came out. Right? Remember when at night I think of you, I know to be a lady, babe. Remember when that went viral again? and it actually reached higher on the Billboard charts than it did when it first came out 20 or 30 years afterwards. That's the benefit of this. So what I'm saying is, if you follow that creative spirit and you do the music that you ultimately want to do, that is not relying upon what the playlisters want from you, that is not relying upon what the analytics guy at a label tells you is going to go viral. When you make music that you want to make and utilize the tools that artists have never had before, what you can do, sky's the limit. But it's up for you to see that not as overwhelming, and to see that as you having the greatest opportunity to tap into people who really want to be tapped in with you. Those are my thoughts, though. You let me know what you think.
DIY.
Hey, that little nigga said, thought I was feeling you. Hey, what was that? Yo, what's going on with the kids? Ghost Town DJs, yes, thank you for that. Thank you for that. What's going on with the kids? The hell are they on? The hell are they on? I'm just playing. That's a joke. I'm not criticizing nobody. I just thought that shit was funny. Raphael says boycott TikTok. What is that gonna do? What you want to do with how do we go about that? What's the next plan on that one? Like how does that play out? I feel you. I hear you. But what's the next plan after that? We gonna stand out in front of a bit dance? You messing up the music. And meanwhile, they just gonna keep on creating. They gonna keep on funneling whatever they want to funnel to make their money. What's the plan? These folks don't care about boycotting because they know they dealing with they dealing with folks that got low attention spans. They ain't worried. These companies, you think these companies really work? I'm not saying boycotting don't work. It has definitely moved the needle for a lot of situations. It has changed entire policies at corporations. But some of these companies, they make enough money to control the narrative, to control the conversation around what you're doing. They make enough to be like, oh, y'all worried about this? All right, well, let's go make this go viral. You know what's so scary about a TikTok? You know what's really scary about a TikTok? And I'm going to keep bringing this up. I don't care what nobody says. TikTok Forbes. This right here is it's kind of funny, but it's not. It's kind of funny, but it's not. This ain't a story, but this shit kind of crazy. On Forbes.com, the Forbes, yes, that financial Forbes, there's a whole ass article where they talk to former employees from TikTok, and TikTok admitted, or those employees admitted, they had something called a heating button, where you as an employee of TikTok, sitting there at your desk, you can go up and down your TikTok timeline and say, oh shit, this ain't got no views. You know what? Go on, take a little some of that. Go ahead and go viral. Your life has changed forever. Sponsorships, all that. Go viral. Go viral. They was like Oprah giving out gifts to her guest. These employees admitted to something called heating. They literally have that power. This is what I think the labels wish they had. You don't think? Hear me out. You don't think they want that? The labels right now looking like crackheads outside of TikTok. Come on, baby, let me just get that. Let me get heating for one. Come on, baby, let me get heating. I got this artist, like it's really crazy artist. It's an artist. I'm telling you, you ain't never seen him before. Nigga got pink hair. Oh man, he got like panda. He got like panda print nails and shit crazy. He be sounding like he got this crazy song that's like. I'm telling you, just go on hit him with the heating. Make that shit make sense. I know I'm clowning, but make it make sense. Tell me I'm lying. That's what they used to do. They used to have the power to heat their own artists, make you think somebody blowing up. Can't do that when the kids is like, I don't believe what's on TV. I believe what's on my Instagram and my TikTok because I can hear it from any and everybody. Think about that? You ever think about that? Major's got a heat button too. It's called Spotify playlist. However, now, yes, you're on point with that. You're on point. But hey, look, hear me out. They got a heat button that's called Spotify. But whose business is Spotify? If Spotify ever said, I don't like the way you're talking to me. And you know what? I want to change percentages. Who's stopping what? I'm sure it's not that black and white, but who's stopping what? Labels? Spotify bought out Anchor as a whole ass podcasting platform. It was a free platform. I think it is still free now. They bought the whole platform. They buying out competition. Huh? I think at one point in time I saw an article that said they were investors in DistroKid. They're buying up the whole damn block. They're Amazon. That's why we talk about the labels like there's no opportunity for them to be the new Target in Walmart. What about Staples? Nigga, when is the last time you've been to Staples? Think about that. Use your brain. I'm just playing. When's the last time you've been to Staples? Have you seen that desolate desert that's there now? It is the most depressing shit. I went in there for some printer ink, something I needed the same day. And they were like, I was like, do you have this particular printer ink? They were like, no, you probably should get it off of Amazon. It's probably be a much better deal and you probably get it, than the next day. How are you telling me as a business to go to Amazon? That's your competition. That's your ops. How are you telling me to go to your ops and your business is struggling? What's going on? I think the same thing applies to what you see is going on. Didn't Staples close? There's one that's open over here. There's one that's open over where I'm at. And bruh, that's next to a Guitar Center. People be parking in their parking lot to get to the Guitar Center. Interesting times we're living in is all I'll say. Kmart, oh my gosh. You didn't just bring up Kmart, Chris AK. That's wild. I work at Staples and confirm the ink is $85. Oh, yeah, I'm good. I just get on Amazon. I got that Prime. I ain't got that Prime for no reason. That's crazy. Getting sense of the ops is crazy. Like, you probably get a much better deal if you go down the block. Imagine a drug dealer saying that. You probably get a much better deal if you just go down the block. I'll be honest with you. Shit I got is mid. It's kind of mid. But if you go down the block right there, yeah, just go down the block right there. They'll take care of you. You can't stay in business like that. And that's what it looks like, right? That's funny, but it's not funny. All right, let's get to this next story. Hope you guys are enjoying this so far. Glad to see so many of you in here. Let's get to the next one. What we got up here next? It's getting ugly. But it's getting good too. Let's get to one more ugly one though. We're gonna end with the good. Yo Gotti, who has made I feel like he's made his full blown transition into becoming the entrepreneur, the exec, as opposed to an artist, has an interesting theory, or interesting point of view, I should say, because obviously he does his business and he's entitled to do it however he wants to. But he has an interesting point of view about streaming music versus physical copies. I agree with some of it, but y'all know that I'm all about physical albums. So let's talk about that one next.
DIY.
So, rapper Yo Gotti, entrepreneur, as well as many other things, was here for an interview with Earn Your Leisure. And they highlighted a particular part. You should really go watch that interview because there's a lot of gems that he dropped just from the standpoint of doing business when your business or product is music. And he expanded upon something that had me scratching my head at first because I'm like, how could this be so? The stance here is read here in the headliner. It says, Yo Gotti says streaming is better business than selling physical CDs. What? How? When you got to get a million streams to get half a eaten penny? What? Huh? I'll let him explain it.
So what's your thoughts on streaming in this day and age?
I mean, I actually like streaming better than how it was, when it was just physical CDs. Because I think that for multiple reasons, I think that the replay value of a record today, I think, is way more current and stays up than when it was on a physical CD. I feel like if you scratched up your CD and lost it, was you really going back to the store to buy the CD over and over and over again?
Now, when I watched this the first few times, I didn't hear that one part where he referred to the time before this time. I thought he was just referring to streams versus physical today, which I think there's a better argument for because you're entitled to run your business how you run it. But it's a really interesting statement because it's like you're talking about the times where CDs were $20. You're talking about the times where you could get your single off $3 or $4, $5, especially if it's cassette CD. You talking about that time where there was more money? And part of his first argument about it is the fact that, or not the fact, but one of his first perspectives on it is folks that bought CDs were less likely to go buy a CD to replace it if it had a scratch on it because it is a physical item that can get dust and all these different things. And he'll explain why streaming, in his opinion, alleviates some of that.
I feel like you don't got to deal with it. You just pick up your phone and you can listen to that song from 10 years ago whenever you feel like it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? As the world gets smarter, also people get lazier. So I don't think a core hard Gotti fan is going to buy that CD 10 times over.
If you're talking about a diehard fan, I have to think of it from the perspective not of just as a fan of Yo Gotti, but somebody who's a diehard fan, whether you like his music or not. If you know anything about being a diehard for your favorite team, a diehard for your favorite whatever brand that you're a diehard for, you'll make those extra purchases, right? Your diehard fandom doesn't just drop off. I scratched my CD twice. No, I know that my favorite artist was Andre 3000 when I was growing up, still is, and Outkast in general. I went and bought back CDs because there was a necessity for me to have one that was unopened and a necessity to have one that I actually played. But that's not the majority of people. And as you'll start to see here, this sounds like more of the perspective of somebody who's reasoning from the vantage point of an exec, in my opinion.
You know what I'm saying? But I think you will listen to it on your phone whenever you feel like it or you get in the mood.
So what's your thoughts on?
All right, so that was the first part. They're going to get to the second part right here.
Go back 20 years if you want to, right here at your fingertip. So I like the idea of streaming. I think it's been some research too that showed that catalog performs better with streaming, I think.
I could see that. Now, see, this is where some of the points in it I did agree with, and that streaming did give some benefits to artists, especially artists that had deep catalogs, especially artists that may have had deals with defunct labels or didn't have the funding to properly push out physical versions of their earlier music. Now, through utilizing a WAV file or MP3, you can put your back catalog up, and you can take it from cassette tape, convert it, and put it up there and make it available to people who otherwise would have never experienced it unless somebody had a physical copy. So yes, I do see the benefit in that. But I also, after watching the video of the artist that we covered who was talking about why she's not putting her music on Spotify, there's another side of that, in that the habits of listeners and even the way that they value music is so dramatically different. It's lowered because I can access it at any time. Yes, when you first get it, I remember when I first got the Wiz Khalifa, OJ and Kush, and it was finally not just on Dat Piff, it was finally on streaming. I played it, and I took like 2 songs off of it that I really wanted to have some replay value on, put it in a playlist, and I haven't listened to it since it came out, re-released again. So I could also see that backfiring in terms of the way that people value music too.
You know what I'm saying? So I ain't got no issue with streaming. I actually like it. I think we just got to keep working on it to make sure we get our fair share of the business off of it. Go back.
Spoken like somebody who probably making a whole lot of money right now having artists signed to him. Isn't Glorilla signed to him? Yeah, shout out to Yo Gotti. Yo Gotti's in full exec mode right now. And in order to say what I'm saying right now, I've had to do a lot of growing. Because there's a version of me that have been like, man, F all that. They paying a third of a penny for 1 million streams. That's not the truth. I'm just exaggerating. That's the part of me, the artist within me. But the more that I conduct business and the more that I make unwise decisions versus wise decisions, and the more that I start to predict whether or not this is going to be a wise decision that I'm making, the more I understand why a Yo Gotti may say something like this. CDs have a whole lot more overhead than uploading an MP3 to a distributor. First and foremost, right? The artwork, the graphic designer is also another expense, because when you're talking about a CD, you're not just talking about a 1-page insert. You're talking about a booklet. You're talking about having a photo shoot that has to go along with that. Now, with him owning his label, with him having artists on his label, you're able to compact what costs so much and then just literally start. I don't want to say you start in the green, but there's a lot less overhead for you to work on that. Now, from a business standpoint, it may not make sense for him to have physical copies, especially if he has artists, younger artists with younger demographics that don't buy CDs. Especially if they're looking at the music as just like, yo, I heard of this artist from TikTok and their only connection to me is this one song. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Even putting up a single, especially when folks don't have CD players like that. But when we're talking about DIYers, when we're talking about DIYers, independent artists, those who are part of the grassroots, those who are on the front line talking to fans, those who are doing shows at dive bars, at local venues, right? At local festivals. When we're talking about those kind of artists, physical is probably the most important thing that you could have, whether it's physical merchandise, whether it's bottle openers. I've sold those before with my logo on them, whether it's T-shirts, sweaters, even selling like flash drives. That's probably the most important thing that you could have, even if it's just a card that has a QR code on it. That can do so much more damage because people have to have some kind of action to move towards if they've never heard of you, right? One thing that I would give it for any artist, you're at a show, put your whole set list on a playlist on Apple Music, Spotify, or whatever. Put your whole set list, all the songs that you did. Even as a producer, this can work. All the songs that you did, put it on a playlist. Then take that hyperlink from whatever playlist you chose, put it on a card, get it printed up and made on Canva. Put it on a card with a QR code on there. Then that way, people can either take a card, scan it, get every song that they heard on that that show mix or that show, and they can actually do something with it right there. Add the album to their playlist, add the album to their phone. Or you can give them now what I think is the equivalent of a business card in the form of an album that says, I'm going to give you something that you don't get often from anywhere else because you're not buying albums. They're not provided at a Best Buy anymore. There's not a Music Warehouse or a Tower Records. I'm going to give you this because I know that you're going to treat it differently, especially if I've made some kind of an impact on you. For us, that's part of our life force. So when you hear things like this, it's important, I think, artists and producers, think about the source it's coming from, because it may make a hell of a lot more sense for them not to do it, but not necessarily for you and I. Don't let this deter you from having physical product. Because I'm telling you right now, as things start to shift, as people are changing their decisions of who they support at what shows, and they start looking in the direction of independent artists and producers to co-support, you're going to be very, very pissed off. Because I've been there. When you kill a show, make an impact, and when somebody says, man, I love what I heard up there, where can I find your stuff? You're going to be disappointed if all you could do was share your Instagram handle with them. Get your physical up. Those are my thoughts, though. What are your thoughts on this?
DIY.
I got another one for you. Have you guys ever seen these business cards? Excuse me. They're they're business cards. They're really thick, but you can slide out the front of them, and it's a USB. You ever saw those? They're business cards. Flip, boom. Put whatever you want on there. It's like a flash drive, but it's literally a business card. If you get a handful of those, I'm going to show y'all that right now. I can't believe I haven't covered this before, but I'm going to show you this right now. Let me find it real quick. I forget what they're called. Business card flash drive. I'm going to just show you an example of it. I've never bought from this company. This is not no sponsorship or nothing like that, but I want y'all to see this. But check this out. This is a thing. Pete. There's a few different folks that make this, but look, can you imagine? Just think about this for a second. Can you imagine being able to put smart cards? There it is. Thank you, Mind Elevation. Think about this for a second. USB flash drives that you can have you could literally take 20 of these, and depending on the size, put your whole catalog on there. And then let people do whatever they want to do with that. But you can customize it with your logo. So instead of somebody saying, man, how can I follow you? Bro, put your hyperlinks, put a notepad that has hyperlinks to your websites, to your social media. Or you could even put a PDF in there. Canva has this thing that allows you to put a link and then hyperlink it, and it sticks inside the PDF. Go there, they put that into their laptop, which people still have laptops. Hello. Put that into their laptop, they got your whole situation. You can even put your zips in there as well. If you didn't hear about the zips, we did a whole story about zips, but this is the direction we have to go. Because I look at when folks like a Yo Gotti say this, and I realize there's a domino effect. Those things look fragile. They might be. But I think for the percentage of folks who will be able to experience those, it's a lot better than hoping they remember your name after seeing 14 people perform, after driving home and getting gas, after having a few drinks at a venue, after finally getting home, putting on their pajamas, you know what I'm saying, having a little nightcap, and then get home. You think they're going to search our ass up? They ain't searching. They ain't looking for us. Niggas is not worried about us. The show is over. But if you have something like this, even as fragile as it is, if it is, I'm just saying, this is alloy. But imagine that you have your logo and even your website as part of the name. Now they have something in their pocket nobody else gave them that night. Fragile or not, that's a better imprint than a business card they'll probably throw away. I can't throw away. I've gotten 2 of these in my whole life. Never threw away either one of them. So I think it's just something you definitely want to see the pros in instead of the cons because of what it could represent. But those are my thoughts. I'm already sharing too much. Who the hell just handed me an eye lock? Hey, yo. Overload, you've had experience with it? He said those are pretty solid. Dope. Yup. Artist or label logo and have the albums on there. Then voila. I mean, you don't know until you do it. I need to contact you about the advice you gave. My daughter watched one of your videos and now has a placement on a movie. Fire. Congratulations to your daughter. Congratulations. Let me draw your attention to this real quick. So we got another story to get to. I'm not going to waste your time on this, but I do want to make sure that I draw your attention to some good folks over here from a website called Hard Drive. It's been a short period of time that I've been building with these folks, but man, they are doing some amazing things for independent artists. And they actually invited me over to speak to their group a few Sundays ago. I want to put this on your radar because I don't offer one-on-one consultations on my website. I don't. Matter of fact, what am I doing? I can't tell y'all about this until I do this.
Curtis King, it's time to plug your shit. Go on and plug your shit. Plug your shit. Go on and plug your shit. Won't you take your wallet out and spin? Spin with me. CurtisKing.com. We got courses, packs.
I had to do it.
Sound packs.
I had to do it.
Whatever you need.
I had to do it. Sing you a little something. All right, enough of that. This is what I want to draw your attention to. What kind of commercial break was that? This nigga's crazy. Check this. So, on this website, they got so many resources for artists and music producers. They even have a beat store on there for producers if you're into that. But they offer services like consultations. I am officially a coach, and my one-on-one services are available at hrdrv.com, harddrive.com. You can go ahead and see the link down at the bottom, but my services are there exclusively for one-to-one consultations if that's what you want to do. Just want to put that on your radar. These are really good folks. There's other services they offer depending on where you're at in your career, marketing planners, fitness sessions. Who else is doing that for artists? Guitar lessons. Come on now. Career road mapping. And there's folks who are really connected within the industry and not just that industry. Like that's what I love about them is that their pitch is not about getting you into the quote unquote industry. Their pitch is making sure that you find a business all your own or your own team. They give you resources not to just throw you into that lion's den. They give you resources that say, if you want to start this up right now and figure out how to generate just some income first, we have the tools for you. They even got mental health days in there too. So there it is. Oh man. Killer Mind, I appreciate you. Typo, don't worry about no typos. I ain't judging nobody on no typos. You good, fam. All right. That being said, we got one more. Have y'all enjoyed those? You enjoyed the offering I got today with these stories? Some interesting things going here. All right, so the next one that I have for you, the last one of the day, is from Killer Mike. Man, Killer Mike definitely was somebody that made a huge name for himself through working with Outkast initially, especially on the song where he had one of the standout verses, if not the standout verses on The Whole World Loves It When You. And he put out a phenomenal album. But he said something, and ironically, it applies to DIY. It applies to DIYers. And he literally starts it off, when you do it yourself. And I was like, oh shit, I gotta make some content about it. So that's what we gonna do. But I appreciate every single one of you that have been in here. I appreciate your patience with the technical difficulties. Y'all are amazing folks. Thank you. DIY. Focused on rhyme, poker to time, poker to time, cause the whole world. Shout out to Killer Mike. Killer Mike, I'm surprised we haven't covered him before, but Killer Mike is gonna always give you a gem. Killer Mike definitely made a name for himself initially as a feature, working frequently with Outkast. And since then, he has not only made a name for himself as a solo artist, but also as someone who is doing some amazing things in the community, right? Really moving the needle. Wherever you see Killer Mike, you know there's going to be an evolution of this idea of what can a rapper do? Or you know, just in general, what can someone in hip hop do, right? And so I love the fact that this interview with Idea Generation, which for me, they're starting to produce some of my favorite interviews with some of my favorite artists. They went and talked to Killer Mike, not only about his new album, Michael, which is phenomenal if you haven't heard it, but they also talked to him about lessons he learned when he did make his initial rise with Outkast versus now where he's the boss and all the responsibilities are on him and he's having to do it yourself. Hello. DIY. So here's Killer Mike talking about that specifically. We might skip a little bit through, but I want you to hear this first part.
It's amazing what you learn having to do it yourself, because it made me a lot more empathetic to Big and Dre. You know, I wasn't no resentful artist. They didn't do everything they could do for me. You know, that's stupid shit. They did, as artists, everything they could possibly do within their range. And then they hit the end of their range. They were still artists at their peak. You could only expect, and it wasn't until I got responsible for some other people that I understood, oh, it's not easy being a boss. To be a boss, you got to have a staff.
Sheesh. He about to drop another gem in a second, but look. It's amazing how many artists you see that sign to other artists, and it's almost like a broken record at this point. How many of them become very bitter and resentful of those artists when they finally find some traction in their solo career? I love that Killer Mike is taking a completely different perspective on this one, and why wouldn't he? Like, this is a brilliant man. Why wouldn't he? He's saying, instead of being like, man, maybe my career would be somewhere different, like if, you know, Andre 3 Stacks and Big Boy would have pushed me even further. Like, man, I had these standout verse in the whole world. Instead of taking that same route that so many bitter artists have taken, and I can categorize him as a bitter artist, as a boss. He said, I understand it now, because now I have the responsibilities that I once were questioning them about or asking them for support on. I have those responsibilities now as the boss. Well, talk about what it is to do things as a boss, Killer Mike.
And to have a staff, you got to make payroll. And to make payroll, you got to make profit. And if you're not making profit, you're not in business, you're just bullshit. So somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Some people think this DIY culture is just a matter of, oh, I get to make whatever music I want. Yeah. There are pros and cons to doing it yourself. I lean in on the pros, right? I feel like the cons are high quality problems to have. These are the kind of problems I choose. No matter what genre, no matter what you choose to do as a profession, there will be pros and there will be cons. There's going to always be problems. That is the one thing I can guarantee you. And no matter what you get into, relationships, whatever, there will always be problems. You have a choice of the quality of problems. And if you can make peace with those, you're likely walking in your purpose. But when he said this right here, in order to be a boss, you got to have a staff. And in order to have a staff, you got to make payroll. Well, in order for your business to make payroll, well, you got to be profiting. And if you're not profiting, well, then you're bullshitting. Ugh. Some people I saw when they clipped this up in the Instagram account, some people were like, you could tell they got in their feelings like, no, that's not true. Some of these companies, it took them years to profit. I don't have an issue with what he said, especially as a business owner who has experienced years at times of not profiting or not being in the green. And every single time that I was able to pivot and figure it out, it always came back to something I needed to change. It always came back to me. And who else should it be blamed for that? It's on me. I made the decision to become a rapper. If I wanted to just make it about money, there's a million different professions I could have did after graduation. If it was about the money, but it's not just about the money. It is about doing this thing that you have a passion for, figuring out ways to monetize it. But it's very, very important, as he just laid out, it's very important for you to be real with yourself about it.
Of course.
for me, once I understood those principles, I got with SMC where I met a guy who would become my manager, Will Bronson. Once I further learned what the independent game was, and me and L hooked up thanks to Jason DeMarco, and all this is hometown stuff, right? So Jason DeMarco works at Turner, he works at Cartoon Network, he knows me and L. He says, hey, Mike Bigger, I'd like for you to make a record as Killer Mike again and make you America's Most Wanted. Boom, 11 years ago, you get rap music. We do a mixtape called Run the Jewels. That mixtape, I know it's instantly magic. I'm like, I ain't never letting this white boy from around me. It's me and him.
Talking about LP.
Us, baby. We are a goddamn team. This is like, man, this is magic.
I gotta say, he's speaking to, not specifically, but he's speaking to one of the unwritten rules about doing it yourself. I've been a DIY artist for now almost 20 years. And if you need further definition of what that is, go to CurtisKing.com. I spent some time with the DIYers in my Patreon community, and we defined what the do's and don'ts are in terms of how we define a DIYer. You can go check that out on my website. But in the 20 years that I have been DIYing, one unwritten rule about all this is that you won't see motion until you get moving. You don't have a movement until you start moving. If you're worried about people not supporting you, you got to first look like you're supporting yourself. And if you're looking like that example of, I think it was a Chris Rock joke where he talks about, you ever notice how when you're on the side of the freeway and your car's broken down and you sit inside it, nobody come to help you? But if you run out of gas and you push it to the gas station, people jump out that car to help you? Well, ain't that crazy? That's the worst Chris Rock impersonation, but you get what I'm getting at. People are more likely to want to help what you have going on if you move, if you have motion, if you're doing the things, not doing them perfectly, but if you're just moving. People want to move with you. They want to see you win. Not everybody, but the right people will.
And when me and L made Run the Jewels 2, 3, and 4, I knew that we had finally completed what I wanted us to be, a true group. You got to have 4 classic records. Outkast set that precedent. Goody Mob set this precedent for us. Like, you got to have back to back to back. Man, I just sat and was just like, wow, we've done it. Let's work on Run the Jewels 5. And then a pandemic happens and we can't tour and work. He gets a movie soundtrack for Al Capone movie. It's amazing thing he does musically. Him and Zach were working. And me and Cuz just got in the room and started hashing it out. And before you know it, Michael happens. And in the process of making Michael, I learned how to become a better business person. But what I learned is how to be an artist in the sense of trusting my instincts, going with my confidence, taking a mistake and making that mistake something else. I really learned and I got in tune with myself in a different way. So,
hold on, first of all.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Let's even throw another one in there.
Keep the suits out the booth.
This is the thing that I feel like those who are not creatives, those who are the quote unquote suits in this music game, that's the part they don't understand, is that while they're trying to sift through analytics and trends to figure out what's best for you, there is not a stat that can compute that. There is only you yourself going through trial and error, which is why way back when artist development was such a great thing to have, even though they probably didn't see it being great from a financial standpoint. It gives the artist time to figure out not just how to make better music, but figure out who they are and how are they going to contribute something to this music space, this sonic space that has never been shared before. Like, what's your voice? Like, I hear you rapping, but who are you? And I listen to a Killer Mike's album, Michael, and I hear somebody who is comfortable with themselves. They're not trying to make the trendy songs. They're not trying to figure out, oh, how's this going to work on TikTok? He knows what his demographic is. He knows his audience. And that comes from spending time with your audience, spending time with your craft, trying out different things that inspire thoughts like, I wonder what it would sound like if I worked with a producer like LP. But that's not going to happen if you're always around people that are just thinking about the analytics. The analytics are they're important, but if they're just thinking about the analytics, you don't allow for things that don't make sense on paper to happen, because those things are the things that can blow everything out the water, in my opinion. There's one more thing he says, and I'm going to end it on this one.
Thanks to Cuz like your A&R, and then me and him treating it like a job. We go in at 10 at night. We go out to 5 to 6 in the morning and record. We go home, go to sleep. We take weekends off. And the more I lived my recording life like a regular worker class guy, the better the music came out on the other side. So for the rest of my life, this is how I'll record.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Shout out to Killer Mike. That right there, if there was nothing else that you took from that, please take that part of it, especially if you identify yourself as a DIYer.
DIY.
This is work just like any other work. You just chose one of the coolest fucking jobs you could have ever chose. But you must take the pros of what you had when you had a job. When you had a job, if you don't still have one, right, which think that's amazing that you have that extra finance to support this dream, to support this passion of yours. But when you have a job, you have structure, you have predictability, right? You know when you're going to get paid, and you also know what it is to be a part of a system. There's a reason why you're clocking in at a certain time. There's a reason why you must do this before 6 p.m. or there's a reason why you must listen to this person that's here. When you have that structure, it makes it so easy to clock in, day out, and produce very similar results that hopefully you're profiting at. I think because sometimes we as DIYers, as artists, as producers, lean so much into the creativity, we don't recognize that focusing on your business is not just about understanding terms. It's not just understanding, okay, well, how do I formulate my LLC and what is my EIN number? It's not just that aspect of it, because I know it can be very boring to look at and read. It's not about that. It's figuring out, how can I use this muscle that I've overdeveloped in creativity and utilize that within this structure of business? Because if you bring these two together, then that means I don't have to be a struggling artist. That means that if I figure out what product people find valuable from me and my music offering, whether it's physical copies of my music, my merchandise, whether it's just the content I make on social media and I monetize that, you need a structure so that you can show up on a consistent basis. I saw a meme. Let me see if I can find this meme really quick. Here it is. This is perfect. This is perfect. I think a lot of times we put unnecessary pressure on ourselves because we're so concerned about being consistent. Have you ever thought to yourself, what does consistency really look like? This diagram really lays it out really well. And I'm taking this not just for my music career, but also I'm taking this in mind for, actually, this is one even better. I'm taking this in mind. No, it ain't, because it's Facebook. This whole pixelated fist. What is going on? Get your life, Zuckerberg. I'm taking this in mind for when I go to the gym. People think consistency looks like full battery every single day. You think it's going in the studio and making 4 or 5 bangers, 15 songs, and da-da-da-da. You think it's just that. But what consistency really looks like, maybe you do have a day where you just go crazy because you're just in that energy. You're in that space. Then the next day, maybe it's a little bit less. Then the day after, maybe you just showed up and went through your scales as a producer. Maybe you just showed up and experimented with your vocals, tried some new auto-tune settings, whatever the case may be. Then the next day, maybe you give a little bit more. The thing that these all have in common is that you continuously show up. And when you sit your ass down in your chair, you allow for the muse, for those special moments to happen. But in order to get more of those special moments, you got to take more shots at it. So I love what Killer Mike is highlighting there, in that the key to his success now is treating his music career as if it's a career, as if it's a job that you would just clock into. You got your schedule that you must go into. He said it's 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Go and get some sleep. And then after you get your sleep, make the plans for the next day. That has probably been the biggest lesson that I've learned this year, especially because I'm going to start to delegate my business out and try to get some help with the video editing, because I've been doing all the video editing myself. get some help with the graphic design because I've been doing all that myself. The mixing and mastering, all that myself. And I there's a part of me that does wear that as a badge of honor, but I understand there's a ceiling for that. But the only way that I could do all of this at a high clip, in my opinion, a high clip, is by having a system that I don't falter from. Am I 100% every single day? Hell no. This is my first stream of the week because of how burnt out I was. But I was able to stop, recognize I'm in that place. You need to chill, and not just chill for a few minutes. Take a few days, then come back and be on fire. So, salute Killer Mike for telling the real about what it is like to be a DIYer. It ain't all breezy. It ain't all good all the time. But it's all yours all the time. Those are my thoughts, though. What do you guys think?
DIY.
Flaw, what's good, bro? What's good? Flaw, I've been seeing you everywhere. I've been seeing you, you know what I'm saying? I've been seeing your reaction videos everywhere, bro. So what's up with you? Every time I see somebody reacting to something, I'm seeing you pop it up. I'm like, hey, yo, that's the homie. What do you guys think on this? Also go through some problems so you can put that pain into the music. You're constantly working and not having any fun. Going through struggles. How good is your music? Overload. I'm with you. I'm with you. Like, how can you, like, what are you going to rap about? I did stream. Damn it. You right, Finesse. I forgot. I did stream for 6 hours. Maybe that's why I needed a break. Let me go back to this one. You got to leave time. DIYers, you got to leave time. You got to leave time. You got to leave some time to live life. I think when your life is always in a studio, is it a mystery that is it a mystery that all the songs are about I'm the best rapper alive and I'm going to show you the best. You know why you only talk about rap shit? Cuz you're only around rap shit. I've been there. Right? One of the homies told me, he was like, if your struggle, he said, you better not have these people thinking your struggle is just being a rapper. They can't relate to that. Don't nobody want to hear about my rap struggles except for other rappers. And unfortunately, most of them rappers don't buy music. So while you're out here living your life, make sure you're documenting these things. I mean, just doing like a little notepad in your phone. Just write down concepts. No bars, just concepts. Like, you know what? This was a crazy situation that I forgot about or that just happened. I need to make a song about this or a hook about it, whatever the case, or a line about it. But that's the freedom that I hope you guys are seeing. Dog, that's the freedom I hope you guys are seeing now that, man, we are living in a special time where not only can you do that, but you have the same access to a machine that can feed you fans of what you do. Exactly how you do it. But I think a lot of folks look at that as social media as like, oh, no. I got to go do dances if I'm on social media. The first person I ever saw when I got on social media, when I got on TikTok, the first person that followed me that was going hella viral was somebody that was a 60-year-old woman that was a dancer. And she was going viral for just doing her dances to like Diana Ross songs, to, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever music that was her favorite music, not the trendy stuff. And you know what TikTok did? This is part of the genius that I think of TikTok. It's a pro and a con, but it's part of the genius is that you can go viral for whatever your style of weird is. I don't consider her weird, but I'm saying whatever your brand of weird, whatever your brand of cool, whatever your brand of laid back, whatever your brand of lo-fi, whatever your brand of golden age hip hop, whatever your brand of trap, whatever your brand of drill, they'll find you an audience. There's a reason why you put a hashtag and see that 1 billion other people used it. I think too many people are worried about, well, if it doesn't work they're too worried about like, man, that's not going to work, bro, because, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at all these people over here. Dog, you don't have to be those people over there. You just got to do it one time for yourself. You just got to do it one time for yourself. Worry about getting yourself in the door before you're concerned about, oh, There's no rapper that can there's no rapper that can. You know what? You're absolutely right. It ain't gonna happen for you. But fam, whatever brand of cool, whatever brand of weird, whatever brand of relevant, whatever brand of whatever that is, if you stay consistent, they will find your audience for you. Because it makes them money to do that. That's why people say the algorithm's against them. It's not against you. I've said it before, and I should have said that. They want you to win, but they also need you to look like you want to win. Right? Having a presentation, having a format, staying consistent, showing up. But we can't do that just wishing that shit works out. We gotta put some effort into it too as DIYers. But I look at that as more like these ain't real problems. This ain't, bro, this is a cake. This is a cakewalk. This ain't nothing. This ain't nothing. We got this. Get some more comments here before we jump out of here. Y'all heard Larry June only raps for 3 hours in the morning. and think about the freedom that he has to do that. Like, I just heard a new song with him and Cardo, and I'm like, he sounds like somebody who's not pressed. He don't sound like... It was a point in time where rappers sound like it was rappers, especially underground rappers, they sounded like they needed these raps. They were punching in as many syllables as they can because they sound like they was trying to pay some rent. They were rapping like their lives depended on it. That can make for some amazing music for some artists. It can also make you sound hella thirsty too. You can say hella, you know the rappers I'm talking about. Like, nigga, you thirsty. You want a sandwich? You don't never want your fans feeling sorry for you. You don't ever want your fans like see you at a show like, hey man, you want a burger? And you may need it. There's sometimes I for sure needed a burger, putting all my money in this music and it not making money back. But ain't no sustainability in that. They're just gonna feel sorry for you forever. That's not a good foundation to build off of, in my opinion. I'll never have a fan be like, you want some Whataburger? What? Hey man, breakfast jacks on me, bro. You killed it tonight. What? You don't even want to buy no t-shirt? Man, you know what? To support you, I'll buy a t-shirt. If it'll help you get fed. No, don't talk to me like that. Don't talk to me like that. Put some respect on my name. Shout out to the DIYers. Hey, another good show. Thank y'all so much. Is that really an option on Twitch? Feed the artists? I think, look, I know I can I be like sidestepping conspiracy theories at times, and sometimes I swing for the fences. Sometimes I'm on point. Sometimes it just sound like foil conspiracies for me. But be careful how these companies, bro. These companies do some shit that they think is like real cute. What's up, Tom? I ain't seen Tom in a second. I'm gonna buy you a burger at the Vibe next Thursday. We're not gonna be at the Vibe. We gonna be at UCR. And as you can tell by the weight that I've put on these last few years, I've been eating. But I appreciate you, Tom. Shout out my guy Tom. One time. Here's some McDonald's. Don't make me Will Smith your ass. Yeah, that's what you... Hey, man. Can you imagine that? Let me stop the music. Fam, can you imagine killing a show? A fan of yours walks up, looks at your shoes, sees like these kind of little dingy shoes, a little dirty. They're waiting in line and they finally walk up to you and they're like, hey man, you really killed it tonight, bro. You mind if I talk to you on the side? Yeah, what's up, bro? You want to get some merch? Nah, not about the merch. I'm concerned for you. Excuse me? I'm concerned for you. You need something to eat? Boy, if you don't get your... All that being said, don't let these companies, in the name of trying to be cute and don't let nobody call you a struggling artist. Fuck that. You're not struggling. You ain't struggling. You're not struggling. Don't let your current situations define who you are. You're not struggling. Don't even speak that evil. Don't even speak that devil into your life. You're not struggling. Your money just not here yet. It's not a lie. Your money's not here yet. But you're working towards something. Don't let nobody call. Some of these companies, bro, they think that shit cute. Twitch included. They think they cute. Feed the artist. It's not that deep, Curtis. It is. It is. Because if we're going to complain about the subconscious subjections that we get through music, the brainwashing, as some people like to call it, then we must be very aware of the way that other people define us to other people. I ain't with that. Don't call me no struggling artist. Dead broke when I couldn't afford no toilet paper. That broke. You know what I'm saying? Scouring the couch. Don't call me no struggling artist. My money just ain't came yet. My money ain't came yet. Nah, it came. And you better believe that too. Let me walking around here crying like my money just ain't came yet. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. You gotta believe that shit too. I'm sorry, this turned into a curspiration. You gotta believe that, bro. Don't let nobody get out here calling you no damn struggling artist, brother, because they'll do it. They like to talk down to hip hoppers. Much love to you. All right, my friends, I'm up out of here. These clips will go up all throughout the next week. We got a new clip dropping tomorrow. I got to edit it right now. But now I kind of figured you're gonna give a gem on this one. Talk about this one. There used to be something too romantic about struggling as an artist. I don't know about that anymore. You know why though, man? Look, I be watching these Country Wayne skits. Country Wayne's a comedian. He has these skits that he puts out every single day. They're like 5-6 skits a day. I've been watching this constant since he was just doing like skits in general, but these are like storyline skits. And he like documents stories of Atlanta, right? Like they're supposed to be based in Atlanta. The way he makes everybody look like money is just that easy to get to, it make you really think like, bro, there's way too many ways to get out here and get paid. There's way too many ways, free ways, for you to work towards something that can get you paid. Right? Like, there's way too many tools out here that people are doing their damnedest to fight against. I just locked down. I just got a better understanding of LLCs through a conversation with ChatGPT where I said, explain this to me like I'm a 6th grader. Oh, that's what that's for? How do I answer this question? What should I calculate? So now when you see it as all this stuff is out here, I mean, even YouTube, you watch an Alex Hormozy, bro drops free gems all the time that I'm like, where's the offer? Wait, you gonna get this for free? There's way too many ways out here to start. I'm not gonna say making money is easy. I'm not gonna say that. You don't want easy money because it works for no matter what. But there's way too many ways to get started that are very simple. Very simple. You follow the instructions, you stick with it. I don't care if you're into drop shipping. I don't care what it is you're into. There's somebody who was off worse than you at the start of this year that never let up. And now it's August and they're seeing momentum. They're probably just now seeing motion. But you just got to go for it. You 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 got to go for it. There's way too many ways to make money now that if you would have, man, I remember somebody told me, last thing I'll say, I remember somebody told me, bro, there ain't no way you're going to get paid being on social media. This was 2006. At that time, that was right. Now look, freaking Twitter is paying you. What's up, lazy eye? Twitter is paying you for tweets, for ad space. I went and gave them a little funky ass $8. Now they're going to pay after I get approval, after I get my impressions for just tweeting my thoughts. Instagram is now paying for ad space on my Instagram videos and content that I would have done for free at one point. YouTube is paying the ad revenue, including what you guys contribute in terms of my Patreon, including in what you guys contribute in terms of the streaming my music, in terms of super chatting. All that stuff helps to build upon these ideas. And the fact that I don't have to wait for the quote unquote big boys to come in here and tell me how to do it. By the time somebody does come in here with a proposal with some money that I don't have, I have the flexibility in a system to say, no, that's not for me. But I appreciate it. So, and if somebody does come in with the proper, when somebody does come with the proper offer, guess what? I still got the system. And it's mine. It's mine to own. But don't underestimate what you can do on your own. DIYers, don't underestimate it.
DIY.
All right, my friends, I'm up out of here. Thank y'all so much. Y'all have an amazing weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. Peace.
DIY.
DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Go on and let the people know that you enjoy what you're seeing. I'll see you soon. Peace.